The intensifying deadly conflict in Kashmir tops our world lead today. Today, explosions and a total blackout in Jammu, an Indian-administered city in the hotly contested Himalayan region, while officials in Pakistan claim the military shot down Indian drones across the country and killed dozens of Indian soldiers near the line of control. This afternoon, Vice President Vance weighed in. Take a listen.
India has its gripes with Pakistan. Pakistan has responded to India. What we can do is try to encourage these folks to de-escalate a little bit, but we're not going to get involved in the middle of a war that's fundamentally none of our business.
We're going to cover this now from India and from Pakistan. CNN's Nick Robertson is in Islamabad, Pakistan. CNN's Matthew Chance is in New Delhi. Nick, you visited the line of control recently. You hiked into Kashmir. What is the situation on the ground right now?
Yeah, right now along that line of control, there's intense shelling. People are beginning to flee the border area, an exodus, as some of the locals there are describing it. So that's pretty hot, pretty active. JD Vance describing it as a war. That's going to sound right to those people here. In the rest of Pakistan, 29 drones over the past 24 hours came over from India. They went to Karachi in the south. 4 soldiers, 4 military personnel injured in Lahore. That's the massive city, 30 million people, just 30 miles from the border with India. And just down the road from here, 10 miles away in Rawalpindi, where there's a massive cricket tournament going on. Foreign Minister saying the stadium there was hit by one of those incoming missiles. The country's on edge. The schools are closed here in Islamabad tomorrow. Major exam across the country are being cancelled in Punjab, along the east of the country here, border with India, of course. Schools all closed there. So there's a real feeling that this is rolling on in a way that the country has not experienced before. These drones, this is different. And as far as the sort of cross-border that Pakistani officials here are telling us about what the Indian government is saying on their side, they're saying India is mounting a phantom defense. So not just drones, not just rockets, not just artillery, not just gunfire, the war of words ratcheting up too.
And Matthew, Indian officials say schools in Punjab, just south of Kashmir, will be closed for the next 3 days. It sounds as though India and Pakistan are prepared for the possibility of even more escalation.
Yeah, it does sound like that. You're right. Schools in Punjab are going to be closed for the next few days, as are schools in Indian-administered Kashmir and universities as well. Also, the Indian government has cancelled all leave for civil servants in the country in preparation for what it says is a potential emergency response. And so that all gives that impression that the country is sort of bracing itself for further escalation within the past couple of hours. You mentioned it already, but you know, we were hearing these reports. We can't go there ourselves, unlike Nick over there in Pakistan. But we're hearing reports that the city of Jammu, which is one of the main cities in Indian-administered Kashmir, has been plunged into darkness. There have been explosions in the skies over the city. It's not quite clear what exactly has been going on, but there have been repeated drone strikes and aerial strikes against locations inside India, at least reported by the Indian authorities. India has since then accused Pakistan of striking 2 military bases in Indian-administered Kashmir and 1 in that neighbouring state of Punjab as well. And so, yeah, you're right. Look, tensions incredibly high on both sides of the border, Jake.
Back with more in our world lead and the conflict between India and Pakistan. And joining us now, Pakistan's ambassador to the U.S., Rizwan Saeed Sheikh. Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. So U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke separately with top officials from India and top officials from Pakistan today. The State Department says Rubio told your Prime Minister, Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif, to, quote, take concrete steps to end any support for terrorist groups. This comes as India is accusing Pakistan of harboring terrorist groups. What is your response?
Well, in this heavily securitized history of this region, where the two countries have actually fought 3 wars, and the history has expressed itself in a security idiom, presumptuous pretexts like the Pahalgam attack having taken place from Pakistan without a shred of evidence, I think is preposterous. And nobody in this situation, in this region, which has a nuclear capability, wants to set a template of going for attacks, aggression, provocative aggression that has been taking place over the past 48 hours, actually more, started by India, escalated by India. It's the 3rd night. Pakistan has exercised its right to self-defense. But basically, this is not the kind of simplified version of the security situation in the region that I think the world wants to see. So whatever has to be said has to be supported by evidence. Yeah. And Pakistan, at the leadership level, has certainly offered to conduct impartial inquiry, independent inquiry, neutral inquiry, and we would be participating in it.
So Pakistan has called for this investigation, as you note. There's this little-known militant group or terrorist group called the Resistance Front. It's linked to Islamist extremists, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and this group claimed responsibility for the attack on social media, though local reports also say they walked it back. Do you know which group was responsible for the terrorist attack that killed 26 tourists on April 22nd in the Indian-controlled part of Kashmir?
Well, the 26 tourists killed in the Indian illegally occupied part of Jammu and Kashmir were basically an attack that took place 230 kilometers plus from the line of control. So we are asking for inquiry because we want to know. Why would we know? If had we known, why would we ask for inquiry? And just going ahead and exercising provocative aggression on an arch rival is something that Pakistan has bearing with a degree of restraint thus far. But as we were pointing out that we would not be the ones going for escalation, India did. Now the responsibility for de-escalation is on India, but there are constraints on restraint. Pakistan reserves the right to respond back. There is enough pressure from our public opinion on the government to respond, and respond we will, because this aggression has been going on now for too long.
Earlier today, CNN interviewed the Indian ambassador to the United States. Take a listen to what he said.
When we did this day before yesterday, our assumption was that we have completed what we set out to do ourselves vis-a-vis the terrorist. We, from our perspective, had brought a certain finality to it, but it was, of course, subject to whether Pakistan has brought finality to it. Pakistan chose to escalate it further. Now it's duty-bound for us to respond to that.
They say they were responding to the terrorist attack that killed 26
there is no situation like responding to the terrorist attack by attacking a sovereign country. Is that a template that the international community would want to set going forward? Without any,
saying what they say. They say
yes. I mean, they can say what they want to say, but attacking Pakistan and expecting us to sit back like sacrificial lambs and not responding is something that they shouldn't even have thought of. And whatever is being done, it's the third night, has on each night been initiated by India. And Pakistan has only been responding in self-defense. Our civilians have been killed, 30 plus civilians, 57 plus casualties. What kind of terrorist infrastructure they were attacking? Civilian lives have been lost. Why did they attack a cricket field? Where is the terrorist infrastructure expected in a cricket field?
Is there any conversation going on at all between India and Pakistan right now?
I think there have been contacts at the level of NSAs, but then this escalation, both in terms of the actions that have been taken and in terms of the rhetoric that is coming out, has to stop. We do not expect lectures from a regime that is operating on the basis of Hindutva philosophy. I mean, that is preposterous. I mean, look at the record of India. They have hegemonistic designs for the region. Whatever they have been doing in Sri Lanka, in Nepal, why is that this is the only country which has problem with every other country in the region?
Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, says that Pakistan needs to, quote, take concrete steps to end any support for terrorist groups. You don't think you need to?
Well, what terrorist groups? Pakistan followed the FATF requirements. All those structures that were there have been dismantled with a degree of finality. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten out of the grey list under the FATF arrangement. So what, I mean, without evidence, how can just you finger point and then start an aggression in a nuclear neighborhood? How responsible is that? I mean, and what kind of precedent we are setting in this kind of a neighborhood situation?
Pakistan's ambassador to the United States, Rizwan Saeed Sheikh, we appreciate you coming here and taking our questions. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.